Hello, I'm Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity, and today we're going to talk about something that's really pretty important, and that has to do with plant-based diets. I've certainly given my opinion on carnivore diets, which is the completely opposite end of the spectrum. And the idea is that just because somebody doesn't eat meat does not make it a healthy diet. And this particular study looked at what's considered like unhealthy plant-based dietary index versus a healthy plant-based dietary index, and the risk of fatty liver disease and progressing to worse conditions in diabetes. And there was clear links between people who had an unhealthy plant-based diet lifestyle. Now, when I talk about plant-based diet lifestyle, we're not talking about vegetarian. Vegan is largely a ethical position, more so than a health position. I do believe that we were designed to be omnivores. You can clearly have ethical concerns with the way that we handle and raise our livestock and everything in today's day and age. There's not much of a discussion there. But a plant-based diet doesn't mean you're not eating any animal products, but they are definitely a smaller component. For me, we may not have animal products until dinner. So I may have a lunch that's vegetarian or a breakfast like whole grain bread with real peanut butter. And so no animal products till dinner. And like that's clearly a plant-based lifestyle. So what I'll usually say is a plant-based lifestyle is having to dig through your vegetables to find the smaller pieces of chicken or grass-fed beef versus lifting up the 32-ounce porterhouse to see the one mushroom underneath. And in this study, when they looked at plant-based diet, so we generally think of vegetarian, but not necessarily, because you can still have lesser amounts of animal products with that. But when they look at healthier options, because people cannot eat meat and still have a very unhealthy lifestyle, so when they look at this from an index, they're looking at things like whole grain, fruit and vegetable intake, nuts and legumes, oils, tea and coffee, and even those have specifics within them. So if you're going to eat nuts, that's fantastic, but no added oils on the nuts. Oils have everything to do with things like olive oil versus sunflower oil. Like there's some specifics within that, but in general, that is what goes towards a healthy plant-based diet index. From an unhealthy plant-based diet index, we're looking at things like juices and sweetened beverages. So like sodas, dairy is on that list. It's a high-calorie drink. Juices, we rarely ever have juices. There's never going to be the amount of nutrition in a juice than there is in the fruit that it came from or vegetable that it came from. Also, part of the unhealthy index are refined carbohydrates, potatoes and fries. Hopefully nobody thinks that fries are on the list of things that are good for us, even though they're vegetarian and certainly plant-based. You can do healthier fries, air frying them, no oil in them, watching how you heat them. But in general, the way most people consume them, potatoes and fries are not on the healthy list. And also on the list are sweets. So you can have a brownie that is plant-based, even if it's got some dairy in it, it's still going to be plant-based, but that doesn't mean it's good and healthy for you. But the bottom line is that having a healthy plant-based diet protected the liver and the risk of diabetes. That shouldn't come as a big surprise for anybody, but I wanted to take this opportunity to point out the idea that just because you're not eating meat doesn't mean you have a healthy lifestyle. We need to evaluate the aspects of that and making sure that we're not eating things like refined carbohydrates and juices that are not going to be good for you in the long run. As always, I'll post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you share this video, like it, and subscribe to the channel.